Most men believe attraction is something you create by doing more, by saying the right thing, by acting at the right moment, by finally summoning enough courage to step forward and prove yourself. They think attraction begins when action begins. But attraction rarely dies because a man did nothing. It dies because he did everything from the wrong place. There is a quiet way men lose their power. No rejection, no confrontation, no clear failure, just distance. A woman doesn't walk away because you weren't confident enough. She walks away because your presence had no weight. And the most dangerous part is this: the behaviors that destroy attraction don't look weak. They look polite. They look considerate. They look harmless. That's why men repeat them again and again, convinced they're doing the right thing, while slowly erasing themselves in the process. It usually begins with a moment of projection. A man sees a woman and, without realizing it, assigns meaning to her existence. He hasn't spoken to her. He doesn't know her values, her discipline, her emotional structure, but her appearance alone is enough for him to imagine outcomes, possibilities, futures. And the moment that happens, something shifts internally. He steps out of his own center and places her there instead. He doesn't notice it, but his posture changes. His thoughts narrow. His inner dialogue becomes cautious. He starts measuring himself instead of standing as himself. This is the first fracture. Not because admiration is wrong, but because elevation without substance creates imbalance, and imbalance always reveals insecurity. Attraction cannot rest on inequality. It collapses under it. From that moment on, his actions are no longer grounded. They are reactive. He is no longer expressing himself. He is managing an outcome. He watches his words. He filters his opinions. He smooths his edges. Not because he wants to, but because he's afraid of losing something he hasn't earned. This is where most men confuse restraint with control. They think being agreeable makes them safe. They think harmony creates connection. So they nod, they mirror, they soften. They agree not because they believe, but because they don't want friction, and they don't realize that friction is not the enemy of attraction. Avoidance is. A man who agrees with everything is not peaceful. He's empty. He signals that his inner world has no gravity, that his beliefs bend easily, that his presence adapts instead of stands. And adaptation might keep conversations comfortable, but comfort does not create desire. Desire needs contrast. It needs tension. It needs polarity. When there is nothing to push against, nothing pushes back. So the woman feels something subtle, not boredom exactly, something closer to disengagement, a sense that she is leading while he is following, that she is expressing while he is echoing, and attraction cannot survive in an echo chamber. As time passes, the man becomes more aware of the distance. He senses it slipping. He doesn't know why, but he feels it, and instead of returning to himself, he reaches outward. This is where approval-seeking begins. He explains himself more. He justifies his actions. He fills silence with reassurance. He hopes she will see his value if he communicates it clearly enough. He doesn't realize that value which must be explained is already compromised. Approval-seeking is not desire. It is submission disguised as sincerity. The moment a man needs affirmation to stabilize his sense of worth, he hands control away. His emotional state begins to depend on her reactions. A reply makes him light. Distance makes him restless. His mood starts fluctuating with attention, and attraction cannot exist where stability is absent. A woman may feel flattered for a moment, but flattery is not respect. Respect comes from consistency, from emotional self-sufficiency, from a man whose center does not move based on validation. When she senses that his inner state depends on her, something fundamental breaks, not because she wants power over him, but because she doesn't trust what relies on her to exist. At this point, many men make what they believe is the honest move. they confess. They reveal their feelings early, hoping clarity will create security. They believe openness will deepen connection. But what it actually does is collapse polarity. When a man exposes his emotional position before it has been earned, mystery disappears, curiosity dies. The dynamic shifts from exploration to resolution, and resolution is not where attraction lives. Attraction lives in space, in unanswered questions, in observation. When everything is revealed too soon, there is nothing left to discover. The emotional tension that once existed evaporates. And without tension, desire has no structure to hold on to. This is why men mistake vulnerability for exposure. Vulnerability requires strength. Exposure often comes from need. A grounded man doesn't rush to be understood. He allows understanding to unfold naturally through presence. As the dynamic weakens, many men try to compensate by becoming useful. They listen more. They help more. They fix more. They believe providing solutions creates closeness, and without noticing it, they step into a role they never intended. Not lover, caretaker. When a man solves problems, instead of holding space, he changes how he is categorized. He becomes reliable, safe, dependable, but not desired. Because attraction does not grow from utility, it grows from polarity. Listening is connection, fixing is hierarchy. And once hierarchy replaces polarity, attraction fades. She may confide in him, she may rely on him emotionally, but desire quietly exits the room. From here, some men swing to the opposite extreme. Having learned that neediness repels, they attempt detachment. But instead of grounded indifference, they perform coldness. Instead of composure, they display absence. They think distance equals strength. But strength is not absence. Strength is restraint. True detachment does not announce itself. It does not punish. It does not provoke. It simply exists as emotional independence. When a man becomes deliberately dismissive, he doesn't appear powerful. He appears reactive, as if he is withholding to compensate for something lost. And women sense this immediately. Attraction does not come from games. It comes from coherence. As the interaction continues, another fracture often appears. The man begins sharing his struggles, his doubts, his insecurities, not from a place of mastery, but from a desire for comfort. He hopes she will reassure him, that she will soften his uncertainty. But a woman is not drawn to a man who needs her to carry his weight. Strength is not pretending you have no struggles. Strength is handling them without leaking instability. When a man unloads unresolved chaos, he signals that he has not yet conquered himself, and while honesty matters, timing matters more. A man who shares weakness without containment loses authority over his own narrative. Later, this pattern deepens. He says yes too easily. He avoids boundaries. He agrees to requests he doesn't respect. Not because he wants to, but because he fears resistance might cost him connection. But every unearned yes erodes self-respect. A man who cannot say no is not kind. He is negotiable. And negotiable men are not desired. They are adjusted. Eventually, the final fracture appears. Reactivity. He becomes emotionally reactive to her behavior. A delay upsets him, a comment provokes him, a shift in tone destabilizes him, and once his emotional state can be controlled externally, attraction is already gone, because the man who reacts has already surrendered leadership of his inner world. A Stoic presence is not about suppression, it is about sovereignty, about remaining unmoved by what does not threaten your core, about being the same man regardless of praise or resistance. At this stage, many men wonder where they went wrong. They replay conversations, they analyze moments, they assume the failure was tactical. But the truth is simpler. They never lost attraction because of one mistake. They lost it because they abandoned their structure. Every collapse came from the same root: outsourcing self-worth, placing value in appearance, placing stability in approval, placing direction in reaction. And when a man does that, he slowly dissolves. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to be felt. The goal was never to be wanted. The goal was never to be chosen. The goal was to remain unshakable. Because women do not respect effort. They respect structure, and structure is built long before any interaction begins. If this unsettles you, sit with it. If it resonates, you already know why. Stay silent, stay grounded. Return to your center. Because nothing is more attractive than a man who does not need to prove he exists.